I gotta tell you a little bit about this thing. I had put in an electronic ignition, electronic distributor, and it ran okay for a while, and then it didn't. It got so well. I made it down to the bottom of my driveway one day a couple years ago, and it died. And then it started back up, but I didn't trust it, so I didn't go on any further. I just brought it back to the house and I parked it. You know, that's as far as it went. So I thought the other day, man, I need to get to the bottom of that. I was kind of thinking about, maybe thinking about kind of selling this thing. That's another story. Anyway, we'll get to that maybe toward the end of the video. But so I put the electronic ignition on there, try to do an upgrade, and then it got so it would just die. It'd run for about 2 minutes and then just die, and then it'd fire right back up again, no problem. But then it would just die, and that's what it was doing. And my cousin Rich was over here. He said, "Do you want to come up and help me diagnose this thing?" And so he came up and I was showing him what it was doing, and I go, "You know what, Rich? I just had a thought. When I put that electronic ignition in, I bypassed the ballast resistor right here, like you're supposed to. You just bypass that and wire this direct and go ahead and go into your HEI." Well, I told him, I said, "I just had a thought." I said, when I did that, I did not change the coil. So the coil I was running was to be used with an external ballast resistor. And he said, "Well, that's a pretty good thought." So he thought I might be onto something there. And so I went and got a coil that was internally, had an internal resistor in it, and put that on there. Well, then it would start, but it wouldn't idle. It just, you could tell what we did had a direct effect on it. It just wouldn't idle at all. You could start fine. It'd rev, as long as you had your foot on it, but it wouldn't idle. And it was idling fine before we changed the coil. So, what Rich is thinking, and you guys weigh in on in the comments on this, we're thinking that because I did not change that coil, that possibly it damaged the module in that distributor. Plus, it was the cheapest, like $49, $59 distributor, cheapest thing I could get on the interwebs. It was not of very much quality. You couldn't even find a name on it. So that's what Rich is thinking, that possibly that coil damaged the module. I went and got a distributor out of this other engine that I have. It's a good engine, and stabbed that distributor, used the coil that's meant to be used with an external ballast resistor, hooked my resistor back up here. This thing fired up and just runs and purrs like a kitten. So at least we found the faulty component in the system. It was the distributor that was bad for whatever reason, whatever caused it to go bad, because it was a cheap piece of Chinese junk to start with, or the coil fried the module, whatever. At any rate, it ran so good that I felt like it warranted going ahead and getting a cap and rotor and wires and new plugs and everything. The plugs were really fouled out real bad because it was just running so ratty. So that's the story about that coil and the electronic ignition. Tell me what you think about that theory. Did that coil fry the module, or is it just Chinese garbage and fried itself? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and do a few upgrades now that it's running so well. I'm going to go ahead and swap out the plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs and big old fat squirrels, welcome back to Wade & Wired's Old Iron, in the little shop where nightmares come true. I never thought this would happen. At my stage in life, snuck up on me. That's what love does, you know. Love will sneak up on you. I never thought I'd fall in love again at my age, but sure enough, head over heels. I feel like a schoolboy, you know, all Twitter pated and everything. And I'll tell you what happened. I was going along, minding my own business. All of a sudden, I decided to get the old blue diamond out and do a little troubleshooting with it. I got it all tuned up and all dialed in and running real good. And I went and drove it, and I fell in love again. Fell in love with it again. Where's it at? I talked to DD Dan over at DD Speed Shop. We got a little program where we can chat back and forth behind the scenes a little bit, you know, and I told him, Dan, I messed up, you know, because I was laughing at him because he's selling all these rigs and he drug home 2 more. You know? It's a disease, you know, and we're afflicted. But I told him, I said, man, I messed up. I went and drove that blue diamond and now I'm falling in love with it all over again. And he said, oh no, you can't drive them. Don't drive them, just sell them, man. You can't drive them. Well, that's what happened. But so I'm here to tell you, yeah, I have fallen in love again. Let's take a look.
You know, I'm not a mechanic, and I'm not a car builder. I'm just an old redneck having a good time banging around on this rusty old iron. So buckle up and hang on. Let's see what's going to happen next around here.
And we're going to shoot over and pick up old Waylon Wire over there. He does some cool stuff.
Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel.
Oh, there was one more feature about this old truck I wanted to show you guys. And I talked about when they first came out, I thought they were just the ugliest things ever. You know, they just, Dodges were just ugly. But now they're so ugly that they're fun, you know. They're so ugly, they're cool now. But back in the day, boy, Dodges and Internationals, they didn't sell near as many as they did Ford and Chevys. But look at this. There's so many unique and cool features about this thing. See how they designed these fenders? You can lay your tools up there, and they got these ribs on there, and nothing rolls off. And that was by design. That's no accident, you know. They didn't do that for looks, because this truck is just totally utilitarian. And I love that about it. Look at this. Look at this shock mount. It looks like they just went out the scrap pile and grabbed a piece of angle iron and said, well, that'll work. Let's just bolt that to the frame and that'll make a shock mount. Sure. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I put a windshield in it. I built the exhaust on it, put dual exhaust on it, put a carpet in it. I never should have put a carpet in it. This truck should have rubber floor mat, and they're kind of spendy, and then there's some shipping. And I think I'm going to rip that carpet out of there and patch the floors and maybe spray some bed liner on it. Because it's just a work truck, you know. It shouldn't have a carpet. And the carpet is shot. I ruined the carpet before I realized what was happening. This oil gauge was leaking. It leaked down on the carpet and just destroyed it. I mean, it's black and ugly, and it'll never clean up. So I think that was a mistake, and I think I'll just take it out. But I put a gauge over here, and this thing runs about 40-50 pounds of oil pressure all the time. It's good. And here we've got the little brother there. That's pretty cool. He's got quad headlights, though. This one's only got 2. I don't remember what year 64 has 4 headlights, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, let's go ahead and do a little tune-up on this thing. See, all these are snapped. Well, these plug wires are not gonna work. Yeah, they're supposed to be for this poly 318. But look at this. None of them will reach. Not one of them. I'm gonna have to make some plug wires. I've got some ends over there and I've got some good wire. So I guess I'm just gonna have to make some and send these back. The thing about these kind of rigs, man, you can just get right up in here with them, you know, work on them. Lots of room, tons of room. Isn't that wonderful? Look at those points. Yeah, they look pretty good. I know the gap's good. I checked it while I had the distributor out. I might run a piece of sandpaper through there just to freshen them up a little. You know what I mean. Wonder if I can just roll that up on the lobe by the fan here. I don't know, that looks a little wide. Let me get a feeler gauge. Down, 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 down. Better move away. Standing too close to the flame. Bom, 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 bom. Okay, we're sitting pretty much on the lobe. And there's a, oh yeah, that's a little, that's a little big, a little on the wide side. I'm gonna pull them down a little bit. Do, 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 do. Little heart won't be the same. Okay, I guess the next thing I'm gonna do is go build some plug wires, because I got some new wires, but they got the wrong kind of ends on them. Okay, let's yank this seat out of there, I reckon. Is there a nut on that? Please tell me there's not a nut on that. There's a nut on that. Get it out by myself. I can probably get it in by myself. I can get it out, I can get it in, right? Yeah. Boy, this old carpet stinks, and we're gonna get it out of here. It's got old and broke. So they're right, see those two bolts right there?
Yep.
if you can get on those, hold those with the wrench, I will get underneath and take the nuts off on the bottom side. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
You got it?
Wait 1 sec.
Okay. Do I have a light under there? Oh, let me see. Okay, I'm going in.
All right.
Okay.
Is that helping at all?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Check it out. Now, I'm going to push those bolts through, and you can take them out.
Okay. Got it.
So, I'm going to get on the other side. I might need you just kind of hang on to that so it don't get away. Okay, that'll go. Thank you. This is going to the burn pile right now. Well, I don't know. I think they all go through the crack and then up to the top. See, there's loops on the top to draw it down.
And there are on the sides too.
Mm-hmm. Let me see, let me come this way a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now we are centered. That looks good. I'll do something with that hinge.
When are you gonna weld the floor and all that? Just later on down the road? For
my,
your list?
my spare time.
Let me get over.
What you doing, Miss Becky?
Oh, putting this sweet patina on here.
There you go. That's what we're doing. We're giving her the old sweet patina treatment.
Yes, indeed.
That's gonna be sweet. Boy, that's looking good. Wow, I like that.
It looks nice.
That sweet patina is all right. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
Aptly named.
Yeah, aptly named. Yes. I'm going to do the tires next. Yeah, clean my little spouts there, my pipes, and then the windows, and we'll be good to go. I can do the windows in the morning probably. Yeah, this is boy, when I get this out in the sun, it's gonna pop. Man. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that product. The sweet patina. Well. I am not finding a timing mark on this thing anywhere. I really need to set the timing. I know it's supposed to set at 10. I know it's supposed to set at 10 before, but I thought it might be on the flywheel. But there's no harmonic balancer on this thing. There's a little hole in that pulley, but I don't know if that means anything. Somebody who's well versed in these 318 polys, let me know where you're supposed to time this thing. I've got another poly engine sitting out back. A good running engine, just for a spare. Maybe there's a mark on that pulley. It seems like, I've been looking on the internet, and it seems like there was one picture that had a little mark and a circle at the end of it, but just on that pulley. And but there's no indicator. So let me go look at that other motor and see if it's got any kind of an indicator tab on it. Okay, this one's different. This one has a balancer on it. A different pulley setup. This is a, oh yeah, and there's the marks right there. This is an industrial engine or maybe a different year, but right there are the marks. Now, I think there's supposed to be an indicator on here, but yeah, and somebody's put a yellow mark on it, on the 0, but that doesn't do me any good because my engine doesn't have that. So all I can do is time it by ear and take it out and pull a hill and see if it pings, you know. I know I've got it a little too far advanced right now. I can tell by the way it starts. So I'm gonna back it off just a little bit, but boy, I wish I could put a timing light on it, you know. I'm gonna crawl underneath there and look at that pulley, really inspect it closely, see if there's any kind of marks on it. Weird deal, huh? Okay, it's time to get this thing up in the air once again. I've have to raise and lower it so much that I just leave it on the lift. And there was a comment, the guy said, you need to let the air out of the tires so you have more clearance pulling the engine. Well, it's sitting on the lift, so it ain't gonna do any good to let the air out of the tires, but you couldn't see that from where you were sitting there, Joe or Bill or George or whatever your name is. So anyway, yeah, it's on the lift, but it's low enough. It's fine. I didn't have any trouble getting the motor out. But what I got to do now is pick it up once again. I'm going to pick it up and I got to start making a list and checking it twice. So let's just do it. Let's get it on up in the air. Okay, I got a pen and paper here. I'm going to start making a list. I guess, you know, I need to inventory here what I've got. that's good, and there's not much good. It's more bad. Spindles are okay. And I ordered A-arms that already have the bushings and the ball joints in them. I hope they're the right ones. I've got tie rod ends coming, and I think I can salvage those tie rod end sleeves, the adjusters, and just clean them up and use those. So I got all new tie rod ends, inners and outers for both sides. I'm gonna need the pitman arm, because that's got a joint in it, and then on the other side over there I'm gonna need the idler arm. They're not terribly expensive. And those ball joints and A-arms and tie rod ends, all that was a little over $400. So I'm just gonna swap all that out. That's a lot easier than trying to put these bushings in. And I need I'm gonna need sway bar bushings. That's already got the heavy duty sway bar, so I'm gonna keep it, just clean it up, brush it up real good and paint it. Sway bar. Okay, so we got that. Now I'm going to probably okay, airbags, 2 airbags. I've been looking into those, trying to remember what I got, but I think I know what size I need to get, and I can measure them. And I need to do some salvaging. This mess over here, I need to pull those pulleys, power steering, and the alternator. And that's because I'll probably need to use those. And I need to pull those plates, the upper and lower. Yeah, my little pots that those airbags sit on, I need those. And I need the upper plates. I can clean those up and reuse them. I'm gonna need a ton of wiring. I have a lot of wiring. I think I'm okay there. Okay, let's get this thing down, and I think that's it for underneath here. My wheel's okay. I'm gonna have to get a pair of tires. You know, I might be able to get away with just one, but no, this tire's burnt. It's all charred and flaking off here in chunks. So I'm gonna need a set of tires. And there's a guy, a YouTuber, a long-term YouTuber, long-time subscriber, and he said he wanted to help me out with these tires, and I guess I'll let him do that. I'm not much one for taking charity, you know. I'll get all indignant about that, and I'm trying to get more gracious. My cousin, I told him the other day, I said, well, I don't want to be beholden to anybody, and he goes, I know that about you, and I'm going to break you to that. So, because we were fighting over who's going to pay for lunch, you know. And anyway, I'm trying to be more gracious, but I'm not very good at it. Anyway, let's get this thing down and take a look. Okay, we're going to need power steering pump. We're going to need an alternator. We're going to need motor mounts, power steering box. I needed to swap that box out. I don't know that it's damaged, but I know that it was leaking, and I know that I have another one. So may as well swap it out. And going to need these hoses. Headlight. I think the headlight's okay. I think the seal beam's okay, but I need bezel or the teardrops, the 39 Ford headlight lenses. And let's see. Could use that trim. I may just try to hammer out that trim. Can y'all see what I'm pointing at there? No, probably not. This trim on the headlight, around the headlight. It's all beat up, but I may just look on eBay. If there's something there, I might grab it. But if not, I'll just hammer that out. It's a rat rod. Who cares? Rat Rod Bob says it's a rat rod. Who cares? I think that steering knuckle's okay, and I think that heim joint is okay. And need a proportioning valve. Need some, I think I've got all the airline fittings that I need and probably the hose. So that's good. So is that it for up here? Brake lines? Don't know. Yeah, no. I guess we're okay on the brake lines. That should be all right. For the engine, I'm going to go ahead and since I've got it out and got it sitting here, I think I'm going to go ahead and knock that transmission loose and put a rear seal in it. I mean, it's not damaged. I'm sure it's fine, but it's just while it's here, why not? You know, while you got it out, because my luck, I put it in a week later and started leaking. You know, so front and rear seal. Let's do front and rear seals, and let's do timing chain cover gasket. Let's do a one-piece oil pan gasket, and let's do some valve cover gaskets. Now, a gentleman made a comment on video, and we swapped email addresses because he offered to take the valve covers, those my good Mickey Thompson valve covers that I liked so well, and the hat, the breather that went over those dual carbs. He said he could vapor clean those, and that's a process. I don't know anything about that, but he said it shouldn't be too bad because they're aluminum, so the shipping should not be terrible. And he said, I will clean those up for you and make them look like new, and I'll pay the shipping, return shipping. And you know me, I said, oh, I would never ask you to do that. And he goes, I know you wouldn't ask me to do that, but that's just what good people do for good people. So Cousin Rich says, let him do it, Ken. People trying to help you out, you know. So there again, trying to be a little more gracious. I'm not very good at it. Okay. So, and then just, you know, a ton of wiring. But another thing we're going to need, boy, this is heart-wrenching right here. I'm going to clean up that intake. And my spacers are okay, but look at this. I'm gonna need two Edelbrock 500s. I think those are 550s, but you know it's way too much fuel. Although these were dialed in pretty good. I think these had already been jetted down because boy, I lucked out. I bought that system, that whole system, both those carbs and this intake, and it was all put together. And I got that on eBay for a pretty good price. And I thought, well, it's going to be a nightmare to adjust those carbs and get it, because I don't know that I've ever had a rig with dual carbs. You know what? I popped those things on there, and they were already dialed in, and I never had to do anything to them. It just ran great. Well, you guys, you heard it run. It ran good. Probably going to need a battery. What do you think? This one's got a big hole in it. Acid jumping out. May as well get one. I'm short on batteries anyway. I have to keep robbing them from one rig. Keep robbing the battery from one rig to pay Paul. Okay. What else, guys? What are we forgetting? What am I forgetting? Yeah, I've got all the air fittings, air hoses, all the brass. I've got cutouts. I've got some new cutouts. That one over there is burnt up. This one's okay. I'll either need to replace that one, figure out what they are, and get one, or I have two new ones over here in the box. If they're the same size, then I'll just bolt in a new one. Those electric cutouts. Somebody said they thought these were dummies. No. These are functional. When I hit that switch, you can hear the exhaust coming out of these guys. All right. So a whole lot of cleaning, scraping, brushing, painting. Yeah, just a long road ahead of me. But it's not going to take that long to put all those components in. It's going to take a while to fit all this metalwork back in there and get that nose cut out of the other one and put in here. But you know, I'm just the guy that can do it. Alrighty there, boys and girls and fat old squirrels.
I think that's it for this one. What's the next video? Oh, got something coming up. Got something big, something important. Yeah, big major thing coming up. I'm gonna keep it our little secret. You know, well, keep it my little secret. I'm not even gonna tell you yet, but it's coming up. Well, things are gonna happen tomorrow. But anyway, in the meantime, just a little reminder. I'm going to be at the Good Guys Car Show in July 5th and 6th in Des Moines, Iowa. And I already had a few guys say, hey, Waylon, we're going to come out and say hi. That just makes my day, you know. So, yeah, hope to get to shake your hand. Anyway, I think that's it. You know, all thing left to do is appreciate you. And I sure do. All right, see you soon right back here on Waylon Myers, Old Iron.